they're the rabbit holes we talk about.
Yeah, sick.
So it is all red, mate. So we're on to episode 7. I don't know how we got to episode 7.
Oh, no way! This is episode 7. That's too perfect. That's my favorite number right there.
Well, there you go. And there is another voice. There is another voice in the.
I was going to say that's
in the room again.
Third voice. So that is Monkey Bat. I would assume everyone in Oceania has heard of Monkey Bat.
Oh man, you played it up too much.
You've been living up under a rock. But I guess just tell us a little bit about yourself, Matt, if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay. So I've been in big fan of sim racing for quite a while. Been doing various different competitions last sort of few years. Started out in WRC, then Gran Turismo, went to a couple of world tours, and jumped on some project cars. Hopefully getting back into WRC at the moment. Sort of have a thrash or whatever I can, eh?
Yeah, we just saw that. Well, I've noticed lately that you've put up a few WRC videos.
So I actually started watching some of those, mate. Like, we're going for world record times, are we?
Yeah, absolutely, man. WRC is my game, eh? That's what I say. That's where I started sort of getting competitive. So now to get back into it, I'm like, I'm really excited to jam.
How do you find, do you played Dirt Rally 2.0?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And like, as I know Joe, my mate Joe, CSTBFO Jad, he's a huge fan of WRC, and it just looks so much more realistic in sort of speed wise, and not being able to sort of just go flat out and cut corners galore. And
oh, really? Is that something you notice with Dirt Rally?
Dirt Rally, like I watched a lot of the sort of world record times on that, and it just seemed like it was like you were gaming the game to like you could cut grass and everything, and then with WRC 8 getting back on track, I think, and then 9 looking really good, and watching you play, I just thought this looks more intense and more realistic in terms of speed and that. Do you find it that way?
Yeah, it's kind of funny you say that, because historically it has been the opposite, right? Like back in like WRC 6 even and 7, there was just constantly in the live chats or whatever, it would be, oh, why is this competition not using Dirt Rally? This is so unrealistic and stuff. And yeah, like the first season there was so many shortcuts and stuff in the WRC games, but it's something they've really clearly like worked on. And like in WRC 9, like if you there's either a cliff or like a bank or something, like you're not gonna want to go off, which is probably like a real stage, right? You definitely don't want to go off on a real stage. So I guess they've kind of turned that around a little bit, but as soon as there's contact, as soon as you hit something in WRC 9, that's when you realize that it's just a game, because it's just so wrong when you crash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that mean you do a little bit of real rally as well, or have done some real rally in the past?
So I've been to rally school with, I think Dale, I think it was. So I haven't actually been in like a rally competition, but like that's, I guess that's kind of the dream. I'd love to be able to do that one day.
I spent a couple of years like in the Victorian Rally Championship as a navigator. I wasn't a driver back then. I actually wasn't even remotely interested in driving.
Crazy.
The navigating bit.
So how did you become a navigator, mate? How does that work? I don't like cars, but I'm going to sit in one and tell you where to go.
Yeah, like reading, maybe.
My partner at the time, it was her dad was driving. So his navigator needed a weekend off or whatever, so I would fill in on the weekends that he couldn't do.
Tripper.
And that just came from, I can't even remember, some rally game that I used to play in the 90s. Before anything else, I used to play, I think it was British Rally on the PC or something like that in the late 90s. And I just fell in love with rally at that time. I was like, rally's the real sport. It's the best sport. It's the only sport ever. And, sort of that fell away into sort of like Japanese cars and time attack and that kind of stuff. But then when I met her, I got back into the rally scene for a few years and, found myself in a car. I found being the navigator is sort of the best bit. You don't have any responsibilities apart from making sure you go in the right direction.
A lot of trust though, eh? A lot of trust in the driver.
And I think that was some of the best bits because I trusted him as a driver. You could feel that he knew how to drive, and I was like, well, I'll just sit here and tell him where to go as best as I can. in the timely order and fashion. And yeah, it was a good relationship. That was one thing he commented on. He was like, "Oh, you just sit there." He's like, "If I'm driving too slow or whatever, you're like, okay, we could drive faster. Or if I'm driving too fast, you'll just keep your mouth shut." It's just like let him make the mistakes. So, but there is a lot of trust, and so it's fun. Or maybe I should have a go. I think I downloaded whatever was free recently. Was that Dirt Rally 4 or something?
Oh yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah, but I haven't had a go yet. But maybe this conversation will.
Yeah, I loved Dirt Rally 4, not Dirt Rally 4. It's just Dirt 4, isn't it? Yeah. I love that game. Yeah. It got like so much negative attention though, but the way they did the generated stages, I thought that was so cool because it kind of captured the spirit of rally in that you don't know what corner's coming up, and you're forced to listen to the co-driver, and actually, like you say, like, you know, it relies on that relationship, because that's what's so unique about rally, is that you have that, you know, the co-driver sitting next to you that you have to actually like work together with. All other racing, it's just like one man, it's just the driver. But yeah, and then to capture that in a game in Dirt 4, I thought that was really cool. But a lot of people didn't like the way it was.
It was a good game, I reckon. I agree with you.
I think that's the hardest part, and I haven't done many hours in it, but that was the most difficult thing I found about like playing rally games, is like you need to be able to tune the navigator's calls and calling. Because I think like when I was getting hard into it there for a little bit, I was watching a lot of Colin McRae on YouTube, and his navigator was sitting around, if I recall correctly, like 6 corners ahead of where they were. So he was like throwing out. So obviously McRae is just building a map. Like he's hearing it, and then it must just get stored there. And then he just like, do you know what I mean? It's a counter on the screen coming down. He's like, well, that's the call. That's the call. Because I guess he just needs that much time to prepare and set up.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you got to think about not just the next corner, right? You got to think about how you want to exit the next corner to set up for the corner after that, kind of thing. Like, when you get to like that top level of actually being able to nail it in rally driving, it's kind of crazy to think about what's going on through the brain of these guys.
I was watching the New Zealand rally. It must be. It was a long time ago now, like 6-7 years ago. And it was when the Fords were really quick. And is it like an L name, like Latvian or something? And he was driving through
Latvala?
Yeah, and he was coming through one of the New Zealand back roads, which I didn't have much respect for at the time until now that I'm here. It's and he was just like apexing. He was apexing. He went from apex to apex to apex, and every entry and exit was perfect for about 6 or 7 corners in a row. And they were all blind. It was like blind, open, blind, open, blind, open, and he was just nailing them. And I'm like, how does he? He was putting the car in exactly like the racing line, and it's like, dude, you're on dirt. How there's got to be room for error? And he was like, there's no error here. The car's threading the needle the whole way through that section. And it was just mind-boggling. I was like, how does he remember that? And how do you write notes to give you that much confidence?
They're all just robots. They're just all I don't know, trained robots and programmed, and I don't know how they do it. Like, I think rally drivers are probably some of the best drivers in the world for sure.
Oh, definitely. Like, there's something else, and catching that in a game can be somewhat difficult. So you're really enjoying that game. What's coming up competitively for that game? Like, is there anything coming up that you're training for?
Yeah, absolutely. So they just announced the Rally New Zealand competition, esports competition, actually. So for anyone in New Zealand, they can jump on WRC9. And I was kind of tied into, because we were supposed to have Rally New Zealand, the WRC, sort of come down here this year. Obviously, that got wrecked with all the pandemic and everything. But so they're running like an Auckland rally and a rally of Jack's Ridge in Auckland to try and replace the Rally New Zealand, and also to try and showcase that like we deserve to be in the WRC kind of thing. So they're trying to make this like big, exciting event. And they're tying in all these different things with it. And one of them is this new esports series, which is really cool because it's backed by Motorsport New Zealand. It's backed by Rally New Zealand.
I saw some of that on your Discord as well. So we'll obviously throw a link in your Discord. They just drop into your Discord. And check
absolutely.
That out, can't we?
Come have a chat. We'll share the links. Otherwise, Let's Play Live and like I say, Rally New Zealand are posting it around on their social medias. And it's going to be. I'm super excited to get back into. Like I say, like this is my game that I probably enjoy the most. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And is that going to be a live sort of event, or is it all just online?
Yeah, it's hectic, because Let's Play Live being involved. They're so it's online qualifiers, or you can go to Auckland Armageddon.
Yep.
And like jump on. I assume they're going to have like a little stage or something. Jump on the little sim rigs and try and qualify. And then their actual finals, they'll fly you up to Auckland if you're not in Auckland, and yeah, it's going to be in their little studios and streamed on Sky Sport even, as well as their Twitch. So it's pretty epic.
Awesome.
And how are you looking for the series at the moment, mate?
Well,
like how you sitting?
I'm gunning for the top. Like this is I just I tweeted this earlier actually, because this is probably like the first competition where I'm like genuinely I want to win this. I think I can win this. Most of the time I show up to these things and I'm like, oh, there's some other fast drivers, like I'll try, but they probably might beat me, sort of.
It's time to get into kill mode, Matt.
Yeah, that's time to go for it, mate. I'm going for it. That's why you see me posting those world records, because I'm getting in there. I'm getting the practice in.
Mentally preparing. Because
I saw the 3-hour one, mate. I'm not stopping until I get a world record. Funny.
I had to switch stages. I couldn't get the one I wanted, but I had to go to sleep at some point.
Because have you also represented New Zealand with Project Cars as well? Was that last year or the year before? You were also
there's been a couple of things with that, which is always funny. Which you might know already that I kind of make jokes about not liking Project Cars that much quite often, but I still I see these competitions come up, and because there are not that many people playing them, I'd still jump on and have a go, and it can be pretty good. But I've done a few things with that. The Let's Play Live have done a few competitions with Project Cars, which has been going to Auckland, and then last year did the Logitech G Challenge and made it into the regional finals for that. Flew over to Australia and went to PAX and went up on stage and raced in that, and was the top Australasian in the end, 5th place for the region.
That's so good. That was that was one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, because you've done fairly well in competitions, haven't you, as well? Because you also GT Sport.
Dude, it's crazy.
You smashed it in GT Sport back in, was it 2018 as well?
Yeah. I keep pinching myself whenever these things come up, because like I say, I'm never really expecting to be at the top, but like it's just it works out better than I expected quite often.
You just find yourself there.
yeah, and I'm just like, I see opportunities come up. I'm like, give that a shot. Okay. Like, I'll do pretty well. I might practice a little bit harder, and we'll see how it goes, and then end up a little bit higher than I expect. No, it's good though. But so Gran Turismo, competed in that. Went to Tokyo for the first regional finals. What they did, that was the first season of the FIA Championship, where they sort of split it up. Which was just the most mental trip. Like those guys, that's FIA, man. They put on the biggest events and treat you the absolute like superstars. It's amazing. And then the most recent Gran Turismo one was over in New York, which again, like just pinching myself the whole time. It was nuts.
Just massive events. How do you prepare yourself when that kind of stuff comes up? Because I first met you and started playing with you in some of the local NZ series that you run. I think I just got out of D grade, and I was like a mid C grader when I found.
You're a slapper.
Oh, true.
When I found like GT4 NZ and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I live in Auckland, so I've been here about 3 years, and that's one of the reasons I got a console and started playing Gran Turismo Sport. I just didn't have any friends in New Zealand.
I didn't realize this I didn't never realize that you'd only just come over. I was actually listening to one of the other podcasts that you mentioned it.
Yeah, and so that was one of the reasons that I'm like, I've got to find a New Zealand community, like some people that I could meet and play with, and that's how I met Nismo. And and it's where was I going with that? Oh, I just remember racing like as I think Double H and Psydog were playing, and you were playing, and like I felt like I graced the racetrack, and I just see like A+ and S players like just in a private lobby. And it was really eye-opening. I remember I've got like this memorable story. I don't know if I've told it on the podcast before, but you did a reverse grid race, and I started on pole position, and you overtook everyone, and we were in second place, and I was the last guy you had to overtake. And I might have been a B grader by that stage, so I'd put a little bit of time and effort in. And you sat behind me for about a lap and a half.
Set up the kill, mate.
Yeah, which I was extremely impressed with, and then you finally decided, okay, you're too slow, I'm going round. And you went past me, and I'm just like, now just sit behind and try and watch what he does and see the way that he drives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And instantly, when you got past me, you just like moved to the edge of the track and turned in from the white line and hit the apex, and then you finished on the white line on the outside of the corner. And I just remember my jaw hit the floor. I was like, oh, I've got so much to learn. I'm like, I really know nothing about driving. So, that's sort of just given me the motivation to learn and slowly just keep grinding away. And I've got a bit of a love affair with Gran Turismo, so I just keep playing and learning and playing. And
yeah, we all love with Gran
Turismo. Yeah, exactly.
You're definitely one of the how do you say it? One of more of the friendlier drivers on the track there, Matt. Like just with your driving style and that. I mean, I've had a few FIA races with you. I think Maggie Noodles was one track where I was in the wreck.
Wait, can we just dissect that for a second?
Maggie Ori or whatever.
Maggie Ori.
I'm going to use that as well. That's great.
I just call it Maggie Noodles. And I was in the Rex, and you were in the Beastie GR3 Lancer, and you'd tucked into the toe behind me to get a nice qualifier, and you qualified in front of me.
True.
I think you ended up third, and I was fifth or something. But there was a bit of a battle halfway, and it was just good racing because you always gave room, and you probably never raced me before and never saw my name, and you're one of those drivers that it doesn't matter who you are and who's in front of you or whatever, you're still going to be pretty respectful and fair as a sort of a real race would be, mate. So.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Cheers for saying that.
Definitely got to like thumbs up for that, mate. Because there's so many drivers out there that doesn't matter about your rating, doesn't matter or whatever. Racing's racing, and that's what it should be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely something that I do like. Try and be careful. I mean, I put my hand up. I do make mistakes as well, and I've taken out a few people. But you try and keep it clean. And like you say, you want to have a respectful race. And 90% of the time, it's not really going to matter who ends up being in front, right? Like you're just there for a good race, kind of thing. So yeah, I understand that. Like you say, there are some people who don't share that attitude. It can be frustrating.
Yeah, definitely, and
especially when Gran Turismo is going to go and ping the wrong person at the end of it, isn't it? So,
the old stray penalty. The odd stray penalty. And you've worked a lot on your community because you've got a Twitch channel, a fairly successful Twitch channel as well.
Yeah.
Very well there, mate.
Yeah, we got Monkey Matt over there trying to do things. It's a little bit quiet at the moment, but we'll get back into it possibly. Committed to it at some point.
Is that because you've just been practicing too much WRC?
It's WRC, mate.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. I've kind of tried to consciously take a little bit of a step back at the moment as well, to be honest. I dived in pretty headlong with all the V2R stuff and trying to qualify for previous competitions. And yeah, I kind of, when I do something, I want to go 100%. So sometimes I kind of go too far with some things, and the life balance gets out of whack a little bit. So trying to get that back in check, and then we'll see where we go.
It is always hard, isn't it? Because I'm like, I want to time trial.
Don't worry about the life balance. It's just gaming. So I mean, here's a question for you, seeing as you love Project Cars. So
we do the air quotes. I love.
Has he dropped out? We lost him.
I purchased Project Cars 3.
Oh, yes. Please tell me all about it.
You haven't got it yet.
No, I haven't checked it out. Well,
don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the worst, mate. It is so bad.
Oh, no, the worst. Really?
Yeah, no, it's bad, mate. It's bad.
Yeah, no, I've heard, shall we say, mixed reviews of that game.
So, I mean, out of the box, I had my Thrustmaster TGT at the time, and it didn't work. It didn't work with Project Cars, mate. Not even the Logitech G29 was working.
What?
So they had it a lot.
Crazy.
Release date, no wheel was working apart from Fanatec.
What? That's crazy.
Have they got a deal with Fanatec or something? Is this like a cheeky?
I don't know. Well, we've got
It's
Fanatec set up
crazy.
now, so it's we'll be able to try the. Be able to
Go back and try it again.
Project Cars 3, but it's crap, mate. It is so bad. It's not even good. It's not even good arcade, mate. It's just terrible.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah. So speaking of wheels, what wheel are you playing on at the moment, Matt?
I got the Thrustmaster TGT Gran Turismo logo in my face. Yeah.
Yep. And then
love this thing, eh?
Before that, did you come from Logitech? Were you on the G29?
I had the G29 for years, really. I broke one.
Everybody started on the G29, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a great place to start. It's got like all the feedback and stuff that you need. It's like the lowest entry point that still has everything. You know, it's still like the complete package that you're after. That's still top quality, but it goes well.
You need to have a G29 as rite of passage. Like if you're playing a sim racing game and you haven't been through a G29, do you really understand what? Like, because I'm forever reading on Reddit forums or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, I'm buying my first wheel. Or do I get the Fanatec Direct Drive or do I just settle with the CSL Elite? And it's like, no, you buy the G29, and when that dies, then you think about upgrading. And then when you finally do get a Fanatec or a TGT or
test the waters first,
a top level wheel, you'll be like, oh my god, how did I?
Yeah, you feel the upgrade, right? You feel like absolutely.
Because I got a free G29, and that's where I started my career. I still got a controller, and then when I upgraded to the CSL Elite, it was just like it was night and day. I was like, oh, this, you know what I mean? Like you appreciate,
exactly. You appreciate it.
And I was just like, oh, it's got nice fidelity. I can feel the ripple strips a bit better, and I can feel this a bit better, and I really appreciate the effort. And I don't know if it grinds my gears or whatever, but yeah, seeing people that want to start on podium direct drives, it's like, I don't know if you're ever going to appreciate.
Gears, mate. You get grumpy, don't you?
I don't know if I can appreciate that you've done the right steps of evolution.
It's the whole like money dynamic that you see in real motorsport, right? You like get a little bit angry when someone jumps into the top category.
Should be me with that podium. I
Yeah.
deserve that more. I do the faster times.
Yeah, you got to start in the kart rental series, mate, and then you get move your way up.
Prove yourself. Yeah.
Start sim racing down at the what is it? The arcade on Daytona, and then you've got to, and then you move to the G29.
Sega Rally, yeah.
Oh, the classics, mate.
All the rite of passages, mate. You can't just show up playing iRacing on direct drives. You're just not going to appreciate life.
So you're pretty much a gamer, really, aren't you, Matt? You just like playing games, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I've been playing them forever since like Game Boy days back when I was a little kid.
Oh yeah.
Back when I always remember this. I tell this story fairly often. Is the first game I had was a rally game. It's TG Rally, which I think in hindsight is Top Gear Rally, but I never realized that was a thing. It was on the Game Boy Advance. And because my dad was a co-driver back in the day, so I always was like keen on rally and a fan. So got that for probably like a birthday present or something. But I always remember the one memory from that game is the co-driver. The co-driver always telling me, "Get on the road." It's like the same way he'd say it as well every time. Like, get on the road. So clearly I wasn't very good back at the day. But
I was just going to say, you're doing pretty well back then, were you?
I've learnt a lot in the last few years. Like I definitely started at the bottom. Even thinking back to when I first played Gran Turismo, the NZ Gamer days. It was the website, that was the forums that would all chat to each other. We'd jump on, I think it was Gran Turismo 5, playing online in lobbies and stuff.
Yep.
And with the likes of actually Psydog and a whole bunch of other people, Brett Saw and a whole list of them, O2. I was like sort of mid-pack. I was kind of nowhere, but then there was Psydog. He was the one I was always looking up to, which is your story you were saying before when you saw us three playing in a lobby. I have those same sort of memories of seeing Psydog just drive off into the distance every single time because he was an absolute machine even way back then. And we like gave him specific like ballasts and penalties so that the rest of us could have like a chance and have a race. We're just like Psydog versus everyone else.
We're just hoping that he can't overcome the difficulties.
Yeah. And I still sit behind him even to this day. He's a beast.
I feel like I've missed a whole segment because I last played Gran Turismo was 4 probably. I played 5 and 6, but I wouldn't have clocked up more than 100 hours on them. I'd be struggling to clock up 50 hours probably.
Oh yeah. I didn't play them as much. I played 5 a little bit. I didn't play 6 much at all, apart from online with the same group of guys, kind of thing.
But yeah, sport just got me hooked. I don't know. I can't even remember the day that I just lost control and had to start putting in hundreds of hours, reading books on learning how to drive and learning what a driver is. And,
he's got the full racing addiction.
Oh yeah, dude, way too addicted now.
Yeah, I love it, mate.
Oh, it's wicked.
Yeah.
Are you still playing a fair bit of GT sport, Matt, or just a bit of a?
No, I've been a bit quiet on it. I've been a bit quiet on it recently. I've been sort of jumping in EVP streams a bit, and then sort of helping him out with doing a little bit of an FIA series, which has been a bit of fun. Being the race engineer on that with a few radio calls and a bit of banter. It's been good, but yeah, I haven't been racing so much myself. And then before that, I was organising the virtual to reality competition. So for me, for a while, it's been a little bit of sort of organising stuff rather than actually
noticed
driving
that,
myself.
mate. You are very lots of events that you do sort of come up with and organise. It must take a lot of time, mate, for out of your game time, sort of planning and just to I guess to give enjoyment to other players, mate. You're doing a great job, dude.
Oh, absolutely, and to be perfectly frank, it's for my own enjoyment as well. Some of these competitions, and originally organising these competitions was so that I could commentate them, because I was enjoying shouting about motorsports. So I put on a competition, hype it up as come have fun yourself, but really it's just so that I can jump in there and start.
It's really okay. So it's really just for you then, just to
you just needed an audience to talk about. Yeah, if these guys just run around the track, I can stand in front of the microphone and talk for a couple of hours.
Get your commentating all worked out.
Yeah, it's definitely a big part of it. But no, it was so cool hearing your story about finding the community of racers when you came over and joining MMC. Wasn't probably called MMC in that day, but yeah, because that is that is a part of it, is creating that sort of engagement, that community, and having fun with it. Because like I say, I started out with NZ Gamer, and we had sort of a group of us that would always be chatting online and be racing each other. So now to be that has gone away, unfortunately, that particular site. So kind of had to fill the void and create something that I thought would be fun for me and fun for other people.
Yeah, no,
makes it so much better. Just having people that you can talk crap to about the same sort of.
And I also think
it's the same sort of stuff.
We bring it up occasionally, that it also improves the competition, sharing ideas between each other.
Absolutely.
There's so many things that I don't know about driving that you're just having a conversation and someone just, says something and then it all clicks. You're like, oh, I never thought about that way. And
totally.
And without that interaction between drivers and people, like-minded people, you suffer. So some people would probably come to these games and then they leave 3 months later, with no friends, no real world experience, and probably never going to pick up a racing game again.
Yeah. And even just the motivation of having your mates there to try and beat sometimes, keeps you engaged and keeps you going.
Friends list, mate, that is the number one arch enemy. If you're above me on my friends list, you're going to get unfriended. Unfriended anyone that's consistently above me on my friends list. That's it. Got to go. No friend of mine.
Might have to unfriend you soon, James. Every time I turn it on, mate, you're always
too quick. Yeah.
It pisses me off.
Yeah, there's a few threads about that going around. But it's the good thing is I still don't know how to race though. So as long as if you're going to come up against a race in me, you've got a fair chance, because still working on learning how to stitch those together.
Yeah, we know that. Consistency, mate. Hey,
because that's the only reason you still talk to me. Yeah. Didn't I win Sakuba? No. Oh, you beat me at Sakuba.
No, I won that. I won that, mate.
It's no big deal, mate.
The painful realization that no, he didn't win.
I won that in practice, and then I won it in the real race.
Oh, no. Killer.
That was good.
Okay, we don't need to talk about that anymore. We're only going to talk about leaderboards, like Matt's world record at WRC. Well, you go to P1, mate, and then you can just retire. You don't have to set another time. It's like, no, I can set a better time than that if I want to. I don't need to.
So with that WRC World Series, the New Zealand Series, what tracks do you sort of have to drive to qualify, and how many tracks are you going to be sort of racing in the finals?
Yeah, so the cool thing is it's all going to be the New Zealand stages. So at least there's not too much that we have to try and jump in and learn, because I haven't played too much of the new game. I've just kind of like jumped in and had a jam in the career a little bit. So definitely in like the esports, the WRC esports like World Series, like man, they have to grind like the whole game and learn every stage. It's crazy. But so yeah, learning the New Zealand stages, they've just announced that the qualifying is going to be on the Te Akau South, which is naturally the longest stage to try try to do the qualifying event. But then the inside word is that the semi-finals and finals is pretty much going to be across all the New Zealand stages, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun.
I should practice for me to go get some more world records.
Yeah, awesome, dude.
That made me think of something. So that's on console or PC?
That's on PC. I think it's only on PC. Yeah.
Okey-dokes.
But because you've got the live events, if you don't have a PC, you can rock up to Armageddon and have a go and still try and qualify.
Crank out those. And do you mostly do your racing on PC these days?
More and more so. Yeah. Obviously, Gran Turismo, I was on PS4 for a long time. Even WRC, I was on PS4 back in the day. But now I've got the beastly PC. I want to, put it to good use.
How do you find the transition? Like the graphics and all that kind of stuff, is it all been easy to set up, or is it a bit of a nightmare? Or
it's always slightly more of a hassle to get things working. Like, oh man, the PlayStation's always just like plug it in, you're good to go. But there's like you turn on a game and you're like, there's always some setting you have to tweak that you don't realize, or the wheel doesn't work properly, and you have to go and like remap the buttons or something. And it can be a little bit more of a hassle.
Get the right firmware. It's like, this firmware. I know now that firmware broke this button.
Literally, WRC 9, I thought the game was broken when I turned it on because my wheel had no force feedback. Like, it picked up the wheel, but like there was just no response. So it was the worst. I did like one stage because I was streaming at the time while I was trying to figure it out as well. Yeah. I did like one stage, and like it reminded me, what we experienced back in the day before we had all this cool technology, because it was rough. But then it was just like firmware updates, and then there was like 3 different places that I had to check for updates. Like the software was super weird, man. But eventually I got there. So
the Thrustmaster, finding software for Thrustmaster is a nightmare.
It was weird.
It's all over the place. I remember doing that with my TGT, just going, what am I downloading?
Because I updated one thing and then I tried again and it didn't work, and then I sort of dug in the settings some more, and there was another place that I could update like something else. I don't know. It worked in the end, so I was happy. I just don't touch it now.
It's like, I think it's FatTurk. You've got like the pedal firmware, and then the bass firmware, and then the steering wheel firmware, and it's like you could have any one of those out, and it's like we're not playing today. You need all the firmware has to match, and I haven't really thought of ever going to PC. Mainly, I don't have a gaming room. I don't have an area. Like, I'm currently set up in my lounge room. So I'm
it's funny you say that. I basically have my bedroom in my flat. So I've just got my new is my computer still there? Just got my new Racetech rig. And so I had to try and kind of like jimmy it into my room at the moment. So it's tucked in here next to my bed, but it's just got enough room that it works well.
How are you finding the Racetech rig? Because they were pumping the old Instagram about it's pretty beefy and solid, isn't it? It looks...
Yeah, mate, I absolutely love it.
Did you go...
You're an ambassador now, mate, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the one. I'm not going to say a bad word about them. No, because we were using them at the Armageddons, because I've been, again, trying to build the community up in the real world as well, rather than just being online. So we're going out to all the Armageddons, and we hooked up with Racetech and had jammed a couple of their they sent a couple of their rigs out that we've been running, and they've been awesome, man. When I wasn't sure like how good they were going to be because I'd never used them until I rocked up to Christchurch Armageddon, but I jumped on and I was like, this is exactly what you need. Like, it's super solid. Like, the wheel's not got any flex to it. It's kind of the case, the similar case to when I upgraded from my Logitech G29 to my Thrustmaster, where I was kind of like, the G29 works well, like I qualified for the Tokyo World Tour with a Logitech G29, like I've got no complaints. And then I got the Thrustmaster and I was like, oh, I'm not going to use that Logitech again. Like, I suddenly realized that's pretty good. It's kind of like the same, because I had a play seat before. which I actually got from.
I just got rid of my play seat.
Oh yeah. Well, there's going to be one going up on Trade if anyone wants to look for a play seat. Because I upgraded to this Racetech, and now I'm like, oh yeah, okay, maybe I was a bit more annoyed with that play seat than I realized. Had
you ever used a Racetech race seat before?
No, see that was my like sort of eye-opening moment when I got to Christchurch Armageddon. So I jumped in the race seat. I was like, what the hell is this seat? Like, this can't be a real race seat. Race seats are supposed to be uncomfortable. What? This is so nice to sit in. What's going on?
Going back to the Rally Navigator story, I was in a Racetech, like one of those top level $2,000-$3,000 Racetechs, and mate, that's sitting on the couch. You could sit in that seat forever and just not move. It was hands down the best seat I've ever sat in. So I've wanted to, like, I've got a track racer, and I want to upgrade my seat on my track racer to a Racetech seat.
Oh yeah.
Now they've brought out. I definitely was having a serious look at it. It's probably a bit too big for the amount of room I have, but it's definitely something worth looking at in the future. And if you say it's good, it's good. And what seat does it come with? Does it come with their entry level seat, like their $1,000?
So you can. Yeah, you can pick whichever seat you want. So you can buy the sim rig separately from the seat if you want to. If you want to go super flash or something. But I think I've got their $1,000 seat on here, which I think is like not quite the very first model. It's like the second model up. But mate, it's a luxury. Like I've gone from not wanting to sit in my seat for more than a few hours to just however long I want. I can still be here gaming.
I don't know how they do it because I've used like quite a few different race seats from Sparko to Recaro. And I'm trying to think who else. But Racetech's the one I can't get out of my mind. You know what I mean? Like if I was building a race car tomorrow, it's like Racetech's. It's like absolutely, they have to be the.
That's I didn't. Yeah, I wish I'd realized back in the day when we created the MR2 because I keep like thinking back to all the sort of. I guess, 2K Cup races are fairly long, half an hour or even an hour for the finals. So, you sit in that for that long and you're like ready to get out. But like, I'm like, man, if we chucked a race test, I want to get the Racetech seat in there now. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be so good.
Yeah. And like, even in like the race book that I read, like Ross Bentley's Race Secrets, like his whole first chapter is about ergonomics. He's like, if you can't sit in the car, and it's the same for sim racing. If you can't sit there and not be sore, how are you going to concentrate? How are you going to perform at your best, man? If you just if you're not in the right zone? And it definitely changes you. Or for me, it changed like getting your rig and a seat, and it just changed everything. Really, it's the way to go. I could never go back.
So the ultimate testimony, right, of the Racetech is to finish up this little plug that it's almost turned into. I got it delivered and I got it fully set up, and then I was doing the Logitech G Challenge this year, just recently, and like I was not expecting much. The time trials I'd sort of been maybe about 5th, so I was kind of like, I probably won't qualify for the final because I think it was only like 2 people qualified for the final, I think. So I was like, I know there's some quick guys in this lobby, but I'll practice and I'll go hard. And so like I think it was the first week of getting the Racetech, the semi-finals come up, and I smashed it, bro. I went hard out, did like my best qualifying lap I've freaking ever done. It was almost the perfect lap, and then I actually won that race and then qualified for the final. And I was like, bro, does this Racetech seat make a difference? This is it. This is the winning seat.
I think
better get one.
Yeah, I was going to say,
everyone get a Racetech. Out you go, spend the money.
Are you a D-grade GT Sport player? Do you want to represent your country? Buy a Racetech.
There you go.
Do you find that you're 0.5 seconds off the fastest lap consistently? Buy a Racetech. Find that extra time, and you'll be right up to the top of the leaderboards, just like Monkey Matt.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, that's good info then, because
there's going to be some new advertisements coming.
And so I just have to get down to Armageddon, Auckland, to try one out then.
Yeah, exactly. You can come along. Sweet. We're gonna have at least 2 rigs there. We're trying to see if we can tee up more, but so you can try it out before you want to buy it. See how they go there.
Like I say, you won't be disappointed. So we've got to get more New Zealand listeners on board, but like how so. Armageddon, whereabouts are they operating out of? Like, in Auckland?
Yeah.
What suburb?
Yeah. So it's the ASB Showgrounds is where it's going to be.
Yep. Yeah.
Should be pretty. It
so
should be
is
pretty
Armageddon like a show?
Yeah. It's a massive show,
Like
massive
Big Boy
gaming,
Toys?
like Comic-Con kind of like.
Good old Armageddon.
Yeah, because I went to Big Boys Toys a couple of years ago to like try out all the rigs and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. We're going to be at Big Boys Toys as well. So if you want to, I say Ping Zero is going to have the Racetech rigs. I might be there for one day. I think is the plan at the moment.
Yeah, if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys get all the good shows. We got nothing over here at the moment.
New Zealand is the place.
Yeah, sorry, Australia.
Well, I'm in Victoria, mate, so I'm just stuck in my house for the rest of my life.
Never coming out, mate. How's it been in Christchurch? Pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's fully relaxed down here. Eh? We've been
that is on my list of places to move. I've been trying to get there for about 12 months now.
Yeah.
So.
True. Man, I love it down here. I moved down here 3 years ago now, almost 3 years. And it's great. Get out of the rush of Auckland. You know, it fits my sort of what I want from a home in a city. Really,
I came to New Zealand for a holiday, mate. I haven't holidayed yet. I'm working day in day out in Auckland and Auckland traffic and Auckland problems.
Oh, bro, the Auckland traffic. Yeah. This is funny, actually. The whole Harbour Bridge situation has been hilarious because my family's still up there. So, so during lockdown, you know, I've been messaging them. They've been stuck in lockdown. And I've been, you know, carrying on like normal, basically down here,
living life, having fun.
Yeah. But then the whole Auckland situation, Harbour Bridge situation. Sorry, my sister has been living and working on the North Shore, and she's just been like moving out of her flat and moving back to my parents' place, which is in South Auckland.
Yep.
And so she was driving over to the North Shore to go to work and took over 3 hours when they had the whole shutdown situation.
Disastrous, mate. It was a disaster.
I could not live with that, you know, then wake up the next day and go back into work again.
Nah, definitely. It's definitely not up our.
I've just got that like 20-minute drive into work. It's nice. There's lots of like green trees around, parks. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, is there anything else we need to cover? Have you got anything else that you'd like to talk about, or Matt?
It's been a pretty good
coming up.
chat.
What's coming up for you in the future?
Yeah, I guess a few things sort of on my mind at the moment. We've talked about a few of them though. The WRC one's the one I'm most excited about, I guess.
Yep.
And then the Logitech G Challenge got the regional finals coming up, which is probably going to be pretty cool. There's been a whole it's been quite funny. There's been a whole drama about what console they're going to use, because obviously they wanted to have a LAN event, so they run events on PS4, on PC, and on Xbox, 3 different ones. Yep. And so it was supposed to be that they all qualify for the LAN, and then, you know, they're all going to be on PC, and it'll be all even. It'll be sweet. But now it's an online final, so you obviously can't race on Project Cars 2. Yep. You can't race with the PS4 versus the PC. So it's like some people only have PS4s. Like, what are they going to do? Yep. And so we've just found out they're going to send us freaking PCs out to everyone.
What?
And then we're going to ship them back afterwards.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, right? Mate. It's crazy.
I'm just surprised that Project Cars 2 still going, mate.
So am I.
Don't worry about Project Cars 3, mate. Let's just keep dragging out number 2.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. No one wants to change to 3, right? We're like, we'll just keep it 2, actually. Thank you very much.
Just stay on 2.
Like 3 is.
No, it's a good laugh. But it meant that it was kind of. I mean, not a lot of people are playing, so it was easy enough to qualify for the first stage, but then obviously it was harder to actually get to the finals.
Yeah.
But no, it was pretty funny. There was like 8 people on Xbox. It was like no one plays this game.
Yeah, no, I believe it. Like I tried to plug it in Project Cars 2 a while ago, and I just couldn't come around to the PS4 version. I think I was still on the G29 back then.
It's tough. And it's different from the PC version as well, which is like really frustrating. So yeah, like the times are all going to be slower on PS4 versus PC. But yeah, I went with PS4 because I knew the competition on PC was going to be harder. So I was like, I don't want to race against Daniel Shields, so I'm going to go on PS4.
Get on the easy one, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you got to rig the system in your favor.
That's it, mate. That's how it works. I just remember, like, when I fired it up and did the first career race in the go-karts, and I turned the wheel a slight bit, and I was doing a 360, and I'm like, what the hell? This just does not feel. And then some cars would feel good, and then others, I was just like,
oh yeah. For me, it's about when you're on the limit. When your car's like about to spin, or if it's just starting to slide, that's when Project Car starts to feel all wrong for me, because it'll just like suddenly spin, or you'll try and catch it and it'll spin the other way, and you just don't know what's going to happen.
That's exactly what I found. Actually, I couldn't drive on the limit. Like as I was turning, I'd lose the front end or I'd lose the rear, and I was like, but I didn't. The rear wasn't going, and then all of a sudden it's gone. It's like,
I think it's just fabric. It's their way of fabricating the sensors to the wheel to make it feel good, but it actually kind of isn't.
Yeah, there's something not quite right, that it doesn't connect.
That'd be slightly Mad Studios for you, I guess.
Yeah. Can you think of anyone else that we should be talking to as well, Matt?
Oh man,
any names that pop?
There's plenty of names. You want to talk to Simon? He's great at talking to people. He'll talk your ears off for hours.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So I'll have to shoot him a text just through Discord, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit him up. He'll be keen.
No, that's awesome. And drop a few names. It's all good.
Drop all the names.
I was EVP as well. I was thinking,
have a laugh with EVP. He's like,
because we spoke to Chad Rice earlier. And
I was listening to that actually. That was really cool having a chat with him. He's like a great dude, eh?
He's a super top bloke. So
he's just blowing up like real quick.
Yeah, like I think he's been playing for 2 months, or not playing, streaming for 2 months, and
exactly. He just made an impact that way because he's so he's so cool. You go into the stream and you're like, this is a good vibe. You know what I mean? Like it's just
that's super nice bloke, and he's been super supportive as well. So it was good to have a chat with him, and so I'll definitely hit up Psydog.
Yeah, man. Hit up EVP. Hit up you probably already. Yeah, I don't know. Anyone jump in the MMC, man. Look at the list of names there. It's crazy. Get
just hit them all up.
Scroll through the list, and I'm sure you'll find some stories that
we'll just start spamming your Discord, mate. Let's go.
Yeah,
no, it's wicked. I'll definitely be posting and telling people to check it out, because I think it's real cool what you guys are doing. It's real cool to have these, like hear from people and have the discussions about something that we're all passionate about, but maybe you don't hear about as much these days. So continuing to grow that and stuff is awesome.
It just makes it more interesting, I think, like just getting a feel of what sort of other people are playing and, what they think of each sort of game. And I mean, because speaking of James, I knew that you were pretty heavily into pretty much playing anything with wheels, mate, which is pretty much what I do on console. I mean, I smash out Forza. I love Forza, and I'll play anything, mate, that's got a wheel. I don't care what it is.
Absolutely.
And then there's guys like me, just one gamer. I got one game, one console. I don't even know where the disc port on my PS4 is.
So it was a good 2 days on a set, mate.
I'd have to. Yeah, you have to. As far as PCs go, it's got to be 10 years since I've owned a PC. Maybe more.
Truth.
They just cost so much now. I mean, what's a standard sort of entry sort of price, Matt, do you reckon, to be able to enjoy it?
Oh, he's probably $1,500 maybe. And
see, that's too much, mate. I've just pre-ordered the PS5, mate.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's so much simpler. No, I saw you always hear the PC Master Race jokes, and I do find it quite funny because there was one about like the new graphics card, the 3000 whatever it is, coming out, that's supposed to be really good, and it was like beating on all the 2000 series, that it's so much better than, like saying like, oh look, I'm so much better than the 2000 series. And then there's just like the PS4 like sweating in the corner, and Xbox like, oh no, we're so much worse. But you look at the prices of them and you're like, of course you're going to choose the PS4. Like the graphics card's going to cost you like more than 2 of those things. Like you have both consoles, so they might be more powerful, but there's definitely trade-offs there that you're making there.
No, definitely. Oh, well, I guess thanks for coming on the show, mate. It's been
thanks for having me.
Awesome to have a chat with you. I was, like I said, super looking forward to it. It's been it's so insightful, and it's just that's actually one thing that I wanted to cover that I haven't talked about. How do you prepare yourself mentally, like for the competitions and stuff.
Right.
Like, that's one thing that I really struggle with. Like being competitive in like a competitive environment.
Well, I guess you could add to that too. Like, how do you go in front of a crowd kind of situation? Like Tokyo, New York.
I love the crowd.
You like it, mate?
Yeah. I'm hyping up the crowd. Like, I'm trying to get them on my side, kind of thing, and use that energy, I guess, to get going. But in general, when it comes to like competitive, you got to just be like focusing on doing the best you can and not worrying about how that compares to other people, I think. Because quite often you get in your own head where you're like, oh, I might not be able to beat that dude, or oh, he's going so fast, Yeah. But if you're like confident that you're putting in the best effort you can and you're just focusing on that, that's part of the key for me. And then the thing I always do when once I actually get racing is I'm like constantly in my head, it's just like on loop. It's just focus on the next corner. Focus on the next corner. Focus on the next corner. Because I'll easily be like distracted. And as soon as I start thinking about something else, and the mind starts wandering, that's when you're going to make a mistake. You're not going to be at your best. So I'm always just trying to like make sure I'm challenging.
I was just going to say, mate. Cameras in your face and that. On the
man,
GT
LPL,
Sport, they get
LPL are the worst.
Up really close. I'd be shaking, going,
get out of my face. Again, you constantly. That's definitely one of the times where I'm like, don't look at the camera. Just focus on the next corner. Focus on the next corner. Because part of my mind's going, I want to play up to the camera. Like give them the thumbs up or something. But it's like, no, I just gotta make sure I get the race going right. But yeah, LPL were the worst for that actually, because they had cameras in behind the screens, so they were walking back and forth like past people, and then they'd poke around the edge of the screen pointing the camera at you. And so it's like, if you're easily distracted, then you're gonna be gone.
That's like, because we've got, like, I do a little bit of streaming and
stream pressure. Just watching Inxile, man. Get in there for a laugh. You got to get in there, Matt, when he streams.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He just cracks under pressure.
It's like I can practice all week, blah, blah, blah. Times are looking good. Confidence is high. Rock up to the race, bang, turn the camera on. Can't even get around the first quarter. It's like, mate, I literally 2 minutes ago was pumping out, not record times, but, like quality, consistent laps 5 minutes ago. Turn the camera on, bang, knuckles gone, choking the steering wheel.
It's definitely something you get used to as well. Like, definitely my first competition. It was the first time at LPL. Like, I was nervous. I was like just focusing on myself, thinking about what I'm going to do, kind of thing. Like, worried about having people in the crowd there, what's going to happen with that, or even just the fact you're sitting next to someone on stage. You end up glancing over at their screen, and like it's all those different aspects of it, all the lights going off. But once you get used to it, like the second time when we came back, me and Psydog, we both did that first one, and then I think the order of it was that we did that, then we went to Tokyo. And then however long later it was, there was another LPL one on the same location. And so we both went back, and because we'd done it before, we were both chill this time around. And we were like, yeah, this is so cool, like having a laugh beforehand, and in the green room or whatever, we were all sitting around. And everyone else, you could see they were in that nervous phase where it might be like their first competition. Where I was like, oh yeah, I remember, like that was me back in the day,
One thing that I've watched during the week was I was just thinking of Daniel Ricciardo before he races every time.
Oh, yeah.
He's always mad headphones, and just you can see him. He's just putting his steel face on. It's just like that.
That's something a lot of the drivers do. Is they have their playlist that they play before the races, so they're all getting in their zone. And I think part of it as well is the like consistency of making sure you get in the same sort of hyped up mental state in every race, because it'd be so easy to come into one race hot, and then the next race, you do something to have a different pattern, and you're maybe not as focused at the start of it. Yeah. But they always have that like routine of getting themselves hyped up.
Yeah, and I was thinking that because you use Ricardo in your stream too as your dance. Yeah. Is that a new follower dance, or is that a
mate? I love the follower dance, mate. Ricardo is awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, like because as soon as I said Ricardo, like just. Talking to you, having Ricardo on my head, all I can see is Ricardo just like bouncing in the background.
Yeah, he's just grooving. He's just loving it, eh? And that's the thing, like you see some of these Formula One drivers and some of these top level drivers taking it real seriously, but like they're living their dream, mate. Like just embrace it and have some fun with it. So that's me at these live events. I'm like, I'm having fun with it. It's got to be the best time.
So Tokyo, what for Gran Turismo? What was what were you racing in? Manufacturer or?
So Tokyo was the regional finals. That was Asia Pacific Nations Cup. Yeah. So we're in the
how'd you go there?
Oh, it was alright. I knew for me getting to the final was the win. I think in the repechage I could have had a day. I'm still kind of mad at Psydog for this one because
didn't punch you, did you? He's part of me before.
It was almost worse. No, it was really sad. It was really sad. Dub True spun out in front of me in the first race. And I was like, shoot, like he had a good chance of qualifying. And so I was in the Mitsubishi, I think. And so I was like a couple of spots back from getting through to the final, however it worked. So then I went through the repechage, and they had the system where you pick your car, and so the top driver picked the top qualified driver or however it was, picked the cars first, and it was the Nissan that was the best. That was Holland, and he just drove away and won the race easy. And Psydog was third to pick, and he picked the car that I was going to go with because in practice beforehand, everyone was like practicing the different cars.
So you couldn't double up with the cars in the comp.
No, you could only pick one. And I'd like specifically practiced this one, and I was like, I reckon this is going to be my car. He freaking picks it, and I was like, screw you, I'll just pick the Mitsubishi then, because I was like straight after him, so like I could have picked it if it wasn't for him. And then he comes out, and first corner he spins it in front of me, goes off, and he's at the back. He comes last. So it was a wasted pick. And so I went the whole race. I came so close to qualifying, but I didn't quite make it. I was like, if I had that car, man, if you had either you needed to qualify or you needed to give me the car so I could qualify.
What a killer. But you've let it go.
You're not holding on to that one.
No,
and then New York. So you went to New York afterwards as well, and what was racing there at New York?
Yeah, that was manufacturers that time for Volkswagen actually.
Yeah, the dub.
Yeah, mate. Oh, it was so awesome.
The dub and the Rocco. What were you driving? The Beetle or the Rocco?
I was driving the Rocco, I think, in my race. So we did one race each, the team of 3, and I punted a dude and got a penalty. It was not a good situation, but I kind of came back from it, and it wasn't the worst.
Who was the teammates that you had?
It was RC Slent was his gamer name, and you've just put me on the spot now. One of the Japanese guys was the other teammate. Mario was in the gamer tag. Yeah. So that was they were awesome. Like they were like top speed. I knew I was going in as kind of like one of the not as good drivers. You know what I mean? Like,
were you just a fill in the middle stint guy, or?
Yeah, absolutely. That was me, just trying to like not balls it up. But then it was so hype because, and also we knew, being the manufacturers, like we didn't have the car. We were never going to be, the top competitive car. So I was there having fun. But then, like, man, the final stint of the final race where all 3 drivers have to do the same race, dude. RC Slent was on a charge coming through the field because we went with an alternate strategy, kind of mixing it up. So he had the better tires at the end, and he was coming through, and we got so excited. And I'll never forget this because at the end he crosses the finish line, makes an overtake on the last lap, crosses the finish line to claim 5th place in the race. We jump up, like I'm so excited. We jump for joy. I run over to him like, this is so much better than we expected. Like shouting, screaming, like, yeah, we did it! Like how awesome was that? And the camera crew turned to us, thinking that we must be like one of the top guys, like to put on stream, whatever. Like they're the guys celebrating, but then it wasn't. So he's like, quickly turned away when he realized that it wasn't actually the winners. We were just in 5th place celebrating more than anyone else.
You were just in the 10th place and you came 5th, so that was 2 good. This is it.
Oh man,
I'd be cheering just to be there, mate. I mean, it
sounds
sounds like it'd just be so much fun, and
it's insane, man.
Meeting other drivers from around the world, and
yeah, absolutely. Like meeting some of the guys from New Zealand, it seems crazy, but I'd never met Double H or Lionface before, so we rocked up in freaking Japan, and I was like, yo, I've been racing you, been chatting to you online for so long. Now we get to meet in person. Actually, I'd never met Psydog before. That was the crazy part, is I'd been racing with him online for so many years. He was the guy who never had a mic. And so we never heard from him. We didn't even, like, the joke was, like, what does he actually sound like? We're going to rock up to the World Tour and he's going to be a robot. He's not going to be a real person. Like,
computer program just in the corner.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was the first time I met him. That was a few years ago. It was, dude, it's just so awesome, mate. And like I say, you see the international superstars as well. You go hang out with Lightning and, you know, Mikosi and Faz. It's nuts.
Yeah, that would be next level, mate. Next level.
And then the after parties, bro. After parties. They go, man. They.
I hope there's drinking. I hope there's drinking involved, mate.
Oh, absolutely, mate.
Not dirty high fives that you kind of see on the TV sometimes.
Oh no, there's plenty of the nerdy high fives, bro. It's so funny.
The awkward hug moments. It's just like, whoa, hey, come on, guys.
half the guys are like real awkward, and they just got to get back to the hotel room, mate. Like they're just like the gamer dudes that.
I was gonna say, you can tell that it's 10 hours a day, like become a pro.
Yeah.
I'm going pro. Oh, there's other humans. What? What do they do?
I think that's where I'm doing it all wrong, mate. I think there's too much talking and mucking around. I might need to just tuck myself away, mate, to get a little bit quicker.
Sounds like you're enjoying yourself. We can't have any fun, mate. No fun. No fun.
Full serious. No, the story of the nerdy drivers versus the sort of more party friendly drivers at the Tokyo World Tour. We had the after party at the Polyphony Studios. It was freaking nuts. And so Kaz rocks up. There's a cake, and he brings in the GT Sport DJ, the guy that's made like a ton of the music in the game. And he's freaking DJing this after party, and Kaz, like once we've like had the dinner and celebrations are over, Kaz rocks up. He's the first on the dance floor, bro. With
seen some of his moves, man.
It's so good. But everyone else is just standing around like awkward as, and I'm like, what is going on, guys? This is your chance to dance with Kaz. So I just make a beeline out onto the dance floor. Right, I'm just straight out there dancing with Kaz, just me and him, like going hard with the DJ, like playing off to the side, and it was freaking nuts. And yeah, bro. Unbelievable scenes. Unbelievable.
Everybody else just watching.
I saw some.
Yeah, we got it going eventually. I dragged some people into it, and you know, everyone was loving it eventually. But to start off with, everyone was like, "What do we do?" Kaz is dancing. Like, I was like, "Go dance!" Like, come on.
I saw some too cool for school meme of him the other day, like leaning on a car with the C hanging out of his mouth like a pro. Like, I was like, mate, this guy is way too cool.
Bro, like, he's living his best life, bro. He's loving it.
He always seems like I watched that that documentary on GT, whatever, like 50-minute doco about him. And he's so passionate about cars and life. He just sounds like such a good bloke, man. Like, yeah, I could say that he's the first bloke on the D floor. That's exactly who I envision, mate. Like, bang, fast cars, loud music. Just enjoy life.
Now we know that Monkey Bat's the second one on the dance floor, mate.
And then oh man, there's a few stories. The DJ walked out to like have a smoke or something at one point. So I snuck around behind his DJ stand to pretend to be playing the freaking Scratchy the Dicks or whatever. Yeah. And he walks back in, but he's loving it as well. Like, he's like massive high fives.
So this is full Gran Turismo insider goss, mate. This is awesome.
Behind the scenes. Like, that's
what we're here for, mate. I mean that's what you want to do, mate. You want to have a good laugh and that.
Yeah, once it's over, everyone like sort of loosens up a little bit and embraces it. And some of these guys, like now more recently, they've been going to these world tours, meeting up, you know, like a few times a year for a while now. They've had quite a few events together, so they've, you know, these guys are getting to know each other, starting to relax up a bit more. New York, Jimmy and Tom definitely were more relaxed when it came to the after party. They were jumping around, having a great old time. Tom was trying to spray beer like it's champagne, like he was on the podium or something. It was, I don't know what he was doing.
So that's not what you do with that.
Oh, it was funny though.
So where do you sort of see in your mind the FIA sort of going with Gran Turismo in the future? I mean, obviously, because of COVID, it's pretty much going to be online. But I mean, do you?
Yeah. They just announced that they've got the World Finals back online. Eh?
Do you see it sort of changing a bit more, trying to get sort of different drivers? Are we kind of getting
I think
bored of the same drivers.
I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create the same sort of superstar kind of level guys where you have those regulars that everyone kind of looks up to, you know. So it's kind of they're kind of trying to highlight those top sort of, you know, Inxile. Oh man,
Eagle.
I'm having a blank on people's names today. There's that. Yeah, exactly. The Japanese guy with his crazy strategies that everyone loves. They're trying to create those sort of superstars, and Lopez as well when he had that massive comeback. So I think FIA want those people to be coming back each time, and they kind of want to lock it down a little bit more, which is something you kind of see in the F1 esports as well, right? Sort of these big leagues tend to head into that direction where they have regulars coming back that they can lean on to promote, that people will want to come back and watch.
Well, I mean, I guess that's what it comes down to, sort of to watching, really.
Yeah, because that's what they're trying to do, right? They're promoting the game. They're trying to get people to come in and tune in and see what's going on and get excited about it. It's less about for them trying to find. Well, I say this, it is about trying to find the fastest driver, but it's kind of like the F1, right? Where it's not really about trying to find the fastest driver. It's about putting on a show.
Yeah,
and
because I like that 2018 regional style where they had. I would absolutely prefer. I'd like the Asian regions to be joined back up again. And then we all play off to have a regional final. So
I think it's really cool.
Same blokes in the same room.
And then you get those stories of like who progresses and who just misses out and has to come back next time. And I think it's a really good way to do it.
I wasn't a huge fan of the 2019 way they did it. The 2018 way I really liked. 2019 not as much. And then obviously it's changed a bit this year because of COVID and all whatnot. Yeah. But I'd really like to see, all the top Asian, Australian, New Zealand drivers all in the same room. Top. So even if it's only 10 of them or 12 of them or whatever, or 15 or whatever. But the guys that get through are the guys that win the races, and they're not necessarily the best on the day, but they are. Sorry, not necessarily the best, but they're the best on that day. They were best in the room at that time, and they get the privilege of going to the world final rather than just, say winning. Say if you win the Asian region or the Australian region, or you win your region, and then that's automatic entry.
Exactly,
or maybe just the winner gets automatic entry, but from second onwards is whoever wins the regional finals, like all in the same room, and then that would be more events.
I reckon I'm on board with that. I'll sign that petition.
Because it's like I would love to be able to practice for something like that, because.
And actually, that's the sort of style that the Logitech G Challenge was trying to create with their regional finals before it got stuffed up by not being able to do LANs. They sort of had 4 regions around the world that there was going to be a regional final event in each region, and then you go through to the world finals to try and figure out the world champion, which I think is an awesome way to do it.
Yeah. So will we be seeing Monkey Matt again?
Again,
for Is that it? That's it. Here I am.
Will you see me again? I hope so. I'm not
Gran Turismo, mate.
I'm not expecting to die anytime soon.
I'm trying to let this stupid fucking dog inside.
For Gran Turismo.
World Tours, mate. Come on.
I don't think I've got what it takes to qualify for the Winning World Tours. I was pouring in quite a lot of hours to try and sort of sneak through. I definitely snuck through with Volkswagen. The way that the manufacturer's ranking kind of works, I kind of again tried to play it in my favor and make a sneaky choice that I thought was going to let me get through. But it's super tough. These guys are so fast, and there's more and more of the top guys who are really dedicating a lot of hours to getting to that level and be able to qualify for these events. So I don't think I've got that unless they introduce something like a regional final where there might be a bit more chance to get through. But I don't know. I'll never say never.
Never say never. But GT7. Still online. Still play online. Yeah, GT7.
Absolutely. Oh, I am so excited for GT7. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's not public knowledge, the reason I'm excited, but I'll be buying that as soon as I can.
Definitely not public knowledge. So you're just randomly excited.
Yeah, just there's a feature that's pretty cool.
Is there something that you know that we don't know?
Yes, I had to sign a contract. Yeah.
Old Envy.
The non-disclosure statement agreement.
Yeah.
Sorry, was involved.
Killer. Well,
so as long as it's VR fully, I'll be happy.
I don't know. I doubt it would be a.
Yeah, they're not going to.
It doesn't. They're not really pushing that with the PS5, So it'll be interesting to see what they do, though.
I don't know. I'm a Gran Turismo fanboy, so they could literally drop GT Sport with a 7 next to it.
Oh, mate, I'd love it.
Be excited.
For me, GT Sport for me was like the right game. The whole focused online kind of and like ranked kind of system I thought was awesome. A lot of people were like turned off because it was such a change from previous games in the series, but I was like, this is the racing game I wanted, so it was perfect. So if they released a GT Sport 2, I'd be super excited. That's not what they're doing, obviously, but yeah.
It doesn't look like it. Yeah.
Still got the FAA though, so they obviously still got it seems like they've got those parts of it still, so it'd be cool.
Yeah. So have we pretty much covered everything, or is there any?
I think so. We just went off on a bit of a tangent. We needed
Gran Turismo. It was definitely worth it.
World Tour life experiences.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that with us, mate.
Yeah, mate. That was
no worries.
Awesome.
No, it's been a lot of fun, eh?
Is there anything else you want to plug? Sort of at the end of the show, anything we should be? I think
just come check out. Yeah. No.
Monkey Matt Discord.
Oh yeah, come join the MMC if you want to do some races in New Zealand time zone. Works quite well. Australians welcome. Everyone's welcome, but it just works best for the New Zealand time zone. Is what we usually try and organise. And there's a lot of chat going on there as well to find other like-minded people. But yeah, come along to the Armageddons. We're going to try and organise some things for that. Should be heaps of fun if you're near Auckland.
I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, and then I guess the only other cool thing I got coming up is the virtual to reality. We've got Pure Axel, our winner. He's got his test day coming up.
Oh, did he get over the line? Did he? Somehow I missed that. I must have unsigned off.
So Pure Axel was the eventual winner of that championship. So we're going to be chucking him in the Crim Insurance Levin for a track day at Hampton Downs. It's going to be awesome. I've just been organising a few things for that, which is why that's on my mind. So yeah, that's coming up in November, and then sort of we're going to try and tie it in with the Big Boys Toys weekend, and then Rally Auckland. I'm going to personally be going out to the Bell of Jack's Ridge, which I'm super excited about. It's been a lot of promotion around that.
Busy man.
You are the busiest guy.
Try to keep things moving. Yeah, try to keep things moving.
Yeah. So much envy.
It always comes at once, though. It's been super frustrating. Sorry if I'm derailing this interview and taking it too long for you guys.
There's no time limit, man.
No, there's definitely no time limit. I've tried to let you go. If you want to keep talking, just keep talking.
I'm good. These things always come at once, is what I was going to say. They always pop up like 5 different things that I really want to do. Always seem to like collide with each other. Luckily, Armageddon is sort of on its own weekend this time, which is pretty cool. Although now there's a time trial that Spark is doing that I want to go and check out for the Formula 1 game. So now I'm like...
Actually, I want to do that too. That's down at Commercial Bay.
Yeah. I'm like, how can I fit that into my weekend? So
you've got a lot on your plate, dude. You got too much going on, bro.
Have you got a place to stay in Auckland?
Yes, and my family's from there.
So that's right. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. I was going to say I've got a spare room if you bloody.
Oh, cheers, man. Yeah, it works pretty well. I just go up and go back to my old childhood bedroom, really, and steal one of their cars for the weekend whenever I'm up there. And it's ideal. But it always happens at once. So then the Big Boy Toys clashing with the Auckland Rally, that kind of thing. But my story with the clashes is the first event I did, there was an LPL, I think it was a Gran Turismo one, at Sky City. I qualified for the final. But before that, I qualified for the final, and then while like in between qualifying and the actual event, I finally finished the Esports WRC season, and I qualified for the final for that. And so I was like, I've been working all year to try and get that. That was huge. But that final was in Germany, so I had to fly over to there. But because the world works against me, the timing of the LPL final versus the Germany final meant that the flights they wanted to give me was actually before the LPL final, so I wasn't going to be able to do it. So there's me just like mad Googling, looking up flights and stuff. And I managed to work it out in the end. So that I did the LPL final at Sky City. My parents were there waiting for me. So we drove straight to the airport. I got on the plane for like this 25-hour flight to Germany that same night. And then went and did the final the next day for WRC.
Oh my God.
It was... Everyone thought I was crazy, but it was the best.
And how did you go in that event?
That was awesome. I think I came 5th in the end, but yeah, like 5th in the world. It was nuts.
So just jet lag and everything. You're just like, stuff it, mate.
I'm going hard.
Oh, mate, no, the adrenaline, the buzz of it kept me going. I crashed afterwards, but like I was still going through all of it. Like I was so excited. We were in the Hyundai Motorsport Factory. It was still one of the greatest events ever. Like,
that's so awesome.
It was mental. But yeah, that was the craziest trip. Like the timing of, I was like, no, I have to do everything. So it's kind of like a running joke with my mum now. Is like that I always try to find a way to fit everything in.
Just jam it all.
It was one flight that I was able to do it, and I made sure I got that one flight.
That is so lucky. So this was 2019.
No, this would have been 18, 17 maybe. This was a few years ago. That was the first ever when I was getting into it.
Shit, that's so epic. That's I was going to say, it sounds like you don't give yourself enough credit as a driver. Like how you've done.
Well,
it sounds like you've done.
I haven't won any of these world championships yet, so.
Well, I can give you the list of events I've been invited to.
Just 0.
I'm just going to have to rummage through some paperwork.
Hang on, mate. You were invited to Showdown, mate, and you got the MVP medal. So there you go, mate. CSTBFO. Taking over the world, mate.
That's epic. So, the road is long, eh? I've got so much to learn.
Yeah, it's all about. It's like I say, you got to rig it in your favor. Pick the right events, and then make sure choose the right cars and all those sort of things. Like the LPL ones on Project Cars, those got pretty quiet at one point, where like they were desperate for people. It was a disaster actually at one point, but that's a whole other story. We might need an episode 2 at some stage.
Check your storage, Furbs. Have you got enough storage?
We got
I was going to say, it sounds like you're definitely coming on again. Like 200, if not 600.
That'll be back, mate.
There's got to be like 1,000 stories. We're going to have to go through the vault, mate. Like,
we need a whole episode on Project Cars too, mate.
Oh no! I mean, all the things wrong with it, or
great.
Too many stories. It's
LPL kind of just to like say what LPL screwed up trying to organize a competition is basically what it was. So I could go through the whole thing, but they did not go well.
The stories get too long. But so we've covered everything. We've got definitely Racetech's on board. Armageddon's on board.
Yeah, we're trying to get Logitech on board again. There'll be so at Armageddon there'll be at least one Logitech we'll be able to give away. Maybe just one, but we'll see.
The new one with the rumble function?
No, unfortunately, it's the G29.
Not the baby TGT model.
What is that one called? Like the 923 or something?
923. So I think I haven't tried one of those yet. I was really disappointed I missed out on the Logitech Media Day. But so I haven't tried it. I haven't seen if it's actually lives up to the hype or not. Psydog seemed to think it was a step up from the G29, so I tend to take his word pretty seriously. So I'm keen to try it. I should have a wheel coming from the Logitech G Challenge, so hopefully in a month or so I'll be able to say whether it's the go or not.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Every time I go for a sign-off, you come up with another story. So I'll let
we started with the classic Monkey Mat bad audio issues, and we've ended with the classic Monkey Mat 3-hour outro. So it's almost like one of my streams. It feels like home.
It's
well, hey, what else? What else can you talk about, mate? What else is going on? Hey? Real life racing? Any real life racing coming up for yourself?
Yeah, not booked into the stage. I was really gutted when the timing of the whole pandemic. I was planning to get into the 24-hour race, and we had some sort of exciting things planned for that. The Lemons, that is. But that sort of fell apart, unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunately, that went away. So no, I've been missing the real racing a little bit recently, actually. Hopefully, I don't know. It's going to probably be another couple of months, but there's some early discussions going on in the background, so hopefully create something exciting.
Because we're getting a little bit closer in New Zealand, aren't we? We're getting
the events are coming back, which is really cool. So the 2K Cup in the North Island just had their first round, I think, of maybe even their second round of the new sort of season that they've created post COVID. So I haven't got any plans for any rounds yet, but definitely at least in the new year. But I'll be up for the track day with the virtual reality. That'll be my next taste. I might sneak in a go myself and a couple of laps.
Might know a few people. Just,
New Zealand's just got the best car scene going. I reckon.
It is the best culture. It has to be
compared to over here, mate. It's just.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah,
100%.
Guys are killing it, mate. Killing it over there.
As far as it being accepted and like part of the culture, and
there's so much, so much more opportunity and to get into it over there. With all the events that you guys hold, and
the 2K Cup's been huge, for getting people into it. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's good. It's such a good attitude. There's so much positivity and freedom over here with motorsport. It's no, like Australia, it's almost shunned upon. You feel like you're I don't know what would be the word. Not just part of regular society if you're into cars and motorsport and that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
There's just no events over here, really.
And the ones that do run are super expensive, and they get really strict on your car.
You can't come onto our track unless you pay $6,000.
Right. Yeah.
So, but because Hampton Downs has got so much, like from what I've read and found, I haven't done one yet. But half day track days, street track days, and all that kind of stuff, like get you in. I'm sure I've seen like a Sunday morning track day, road legal cars like $35, and you don't have that in Australia. So
shoot.
But there's stuff like that just doesn't exist. Definitely not Melbourne awesome, anyway. So, but yeah,
well, that's good.
Almost covered it by the sounds of it.
You sure?
Are you sure? Are we sure?
No, we probably not. That's it.
I don't know.
You'll say something that'll ping another memory in.
I would like. Here comes another memory for you or something. I would like to see GT Academy come back.
Oh yeah. This is like, I'd love to see that as well. This is where virtual reality is kind of, I don't know, me testing the waters of how far we can take these sort of things. Get sim racers on board and then chuck one of them in a real car and see where it goes. So that's been pretty cool. But
that was such an awesome idea. Like, was that difficult to organise? Like, did you have to get like New Zealand Motorsport on board, or is it?
No, I just rolled solo. I did it myself. I was just like, this is just happening. Yeah. Actually, it was. This is kind of like an idea I had for a while, but the origin story of virtual reality. Like I said, I've been thinking about it. I was like, this would be a cool thing to do because I'd been organising a few little competitions, and I think we might have given away a wheel or something before this happened. But then Mark Mallard, actually from the 2K Cup, he must have seen some of the things I've been posting online, and so he called me out of the blue one day and was like, "Hey, I think what you're doing is pretty cool. What do you think of if we offered up a drive in a real car as a prize?" And he was like, "I'd put my car up for it, and like cover the cost of running the car and everything for a track day." And I was like, "Mate, I think that would be freaking epic." And I've already been thinking about all of this. I've got a little plan lined up in my head. Like, let's go ahead. So that was the end of last year, and then sent some messages around to try and organize it and get people on board, and ran it through this year, and we're getting to the end of it now.
Yeah, that was such like the best idea. And like just watching Monkey Motorsport Club evolve, just been so much growth, and
and bringing EVP on board has been so cool, and there's been all the different guys behind the scenes that have been helping out. Ethan's has done so much as well. It's so cool that it's not just me trying to organize these things. There's other people who actually enjoy it enough to be involved as well.
Yeah,
which is
definitely. Yeah, no, it's definitely you're definitely on the right track. You're just definitely doing so much for like sim racing in New Zealand, especially, and yeah, and there's plenty of Aussies that jump over and come across and play as well. So
yeah, cheers for saying that. We'll see. We'll see what it holds. I don't know. I try and put on events that I would enjoy being in as well. Like with the Armageddons and stuff, doing the time trials. That's something I would have liked to see in previous years when I was sort of doing those things, because sometimes these companies will try and organize events rather than people who are genuinely passionate about it, and it'll end up that they just don't understand what settings are right or
they
how
go
to actually run
way.
it.
The community aspect is so much more important
exactly
than the corporate way of trying to do something. Like I think I missed one of your trips to Auckland. It must be. It was a while ago now. But like the first time it came across my screen, you were like, "Oh, I just got back from Auckland." And I was like, "What? Oh shit, you're in Auckland! I've missed."
Oh, that was awesome,
trip to. Yeah, I was just like, "Oh, I should have." If I don't know what I didn't do, like whether I hadn't checked my socials enough or whether I'd missed it on the Discord or whatever. But
that's interesting. I'll try and get the word out a bit more than this time then. Here we go. I'm getting the word out on your podcast. Armageddon Auckland. Do not miss it, everyone. Come check out the MMC. We're going to have a whole crew. Hopefully the Friday night as well, we're going to have a Monkey Motorsport Club kind of like special session, which is, I think Armageddon's open from between 6 and 9. So if you're in the Monkey Motorsport Club Discord and we kind of know who you are, we'll try and get you in for free as well. So it'll be sick.
Perfect.
And there will be dancing. So
I was going to say,
get on down there, DJs and Monkey.
Yeah, that's my job today is organising all this outside events, all the events we're going to do around it. Because that meetup that you were talking about in Auckland, where we had a few of the Monkey Motorsport Club guys, got to meet them for the first time. That was awesome. We went down to the arcade and we were playing, all the classic racing arcade games, and there was Mario Kart involved. It was, but there was a dance. There's a dance game involved as well. It was hilarious.
Good stuff.
No, I'll definitely be there this time, 100%.
Oh, wicked! I'll make sure I get it all organised properly then.
I won't be there. Sorry.
You'll be in the same lounge room in 6 months.
Someone stream for me, please.
I need something to watch.
That's awesome, mate. I really appreciate you coming on, bro.
Oh, cheers for having me, man.
And talking a lot of shit and everything you're doing, mate.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, cheers, definitely. Man. No, I appreciate what you guys are doing as well. I think this is going to be awesome, podcast you got together.
Yeah, and you're definitely coming back too. There's definitely not a finished conversation by any means.
I'd love to.
So
I'd love to anytime, man.
Yeah, sounds like we can finally hit the stop record button. So
I'll hit stop. Good luck with WRC, mate.
Cheers, man. Cheers.